Hi and welcome to the Formula Chat YouTube channel. Glad you've been enjoying the content, looking close up at some of these great racing cars. Today we're going to take a look at the McLaren MP4 15 from 2000. If you're liking the content, grab us a like and grab a subscribe, and as ever, drop any questions in the box below. So let's have a look at the McLaren MP4 15. So here is a close-up of the McLaren 415 used for the 2000 Formula 1 season, designed by Adrian Newey and driven by drivers Mika Häkkinen and David Coulthard during that season. And what a stunner in this lovely kind of dark grey that fades through into white. Looks great, certainly looks better than some of the F1 cars in their matte colour nowadays. If we have a look at the car, you can see a lot of the Adrian Newey effect, a lot of the way the aero works. Got these massive dive planes on the side of the front wing here, moving through into the barge boards that were really developed from about 1994 onwards, and the Williams cars, again Adrian Newey. Designing those, you've got lots of aero going on with the wishbones here, the way in which they kind of blend the air through and into that barge board and through into the side pod there. It just looks great. The other little details here, as we look underneath the car, get the camera right underneath here, you can see the way the air utilising the floor with those different little curved bits. And if we get right under, I'm not sure you can see it from here, but you've got little aero parts going right the way round, and little air inserts just here, lots of little bits there, and they look great. As we move the way up the car, you've got the neutral button, which was relatively new for the cars at that point. Moving into the car, it's got the original steering wheel on it, and it's always good that these display cars have got the steering wheels. I'll move the camera to the other side and the light will catch it a little bit better in a moment. If we look over the top, we've got the headrest here. Nice high head restraints at the side of the cars here, a legacy of that awful weekend at Imola 1994. You've got the padded bit here on the side of the headrest, air intake, camera mount at the very top, and then these little holes here, which were actually designed for the marshals to put strops through, so if the car ended up in the gravel you could lift it up and move it away quite clearly. But the aero covering on these, I remember marshalling with these cars, and it was quite tricky trying to get the strops in there. So we move around to the kind of back of the coat bottle section, lots of aero effect here, exhaust outlets and things, lots of aero effect covering up the suspension wishbones at the back of the car. I don't see that so much now because of the way the regulations allow, but if I move around here you can see at the back of the car we've got the pickup points here for the mounts of the rear jack for pit stops. Again, nowadays it's just a cup that sits on the end of the crash box structure, but if you look down at the diffuser here, you're getting a really good view of how the aero works around the back of the car here. Absolutely lovely in the way it's made. Actually a work of art, really, as a lot of these cars are. You also notice the double plane wing across the top here. So you've got the rear wing, you've got this extra plane of the wing that sits there, creating that kind of triplane effect at the back. Not seen since, if I remember rightly, the Jordan in 1991 had a kind of triplane wing. If we move the camera right the way around the car, I'm just going to look in the cockpit here. One thing we do notice as we move the camera around, these grooves in the tyres. Well, these grooves are here as an attempt to slow some of the cars down. The cars used to have slick tyres. These grooves were meant to reduce the surface area. Well, they did reduce the surface area of the rubber attached to the track surface. So it did slow the car down. They did look ugly. I'm really pleased it's something that we managed to move on from in Formula 1. Now, if I take the camera down, you can see a little bit better with the light this side. So the original steering wheel here, you've got this tiny little dash that sits at the top here with the gear change lights and a couple of tiny little screens which are giving the drivers bits of information. You've got other starting to increase the number of buttons for different settings and things on there. You've also got the gear handles on the back, or gear paddles should I say, on the back. You've also got clutch paddles on on the back, and those of you that know some of your history about these cars may know they had extra pedals in the cars. These ones didn't have, but some of them had. You get the camera in there, it's a bit difficult to see in there. Different, an extra pedal which kind of held the rear wheels in place, but this car doesn't have that. You've got various different settings and buttons here, and as well as the safety belts, you've got these straps on the side here, which strapped were kind of there for extrication purposes. Should the driver be involved in a nasty accident, you clip into those, and that would raise the whole seat out, and the driver could be moved to hospital quite easily. You've got the fire extinguisher outlet here. You'll also notice the car says David on the side. Well, David Coulthard and Mika Häkkinen, they both had their names on the side of the cars for certain races when cigarette advertising did not allow West, who were the sponsor of the team, to have their name on the car. So yeah, it says David in various places, and this car was used in this livery for the British Grand Prix in 2000, a race held at Easter. And if you've ever visited Silverstone, you'll know what the weather can be like here, and it was a pretty grim affair for those spectating. But this car did win that Grand Prix at Easter. The McLaren MP4 15. It's a lovely car, great to get up close to. If you're liking the content, grab us a like, grab us a subscribe, and more than happy to take any questions. But great to be up close once again to some of these lovely F1 cars and let you guys have a good close-up look.